This article is an introduction to the MRes that I am doing at Liverpool University, and it introduces the reason why we can believe that modern miracles really do exist and why they are philosophically significant, based really about the argument that David Hume makes. He makes probably two sets of arguments. One which seems to suggest that miracles are not valid in any situation. And the second argument is that miracles are not valid because you can never have enough evidence for them. Well, the first line of argument, that miracles are not valid in any situation, is almost certainly invalid because it assumes atheism, whereas in fact miracles are an argument for the existence of God, and the assumption that atheism is true requires a proof, and there's virtually no way you can prove atheism is true. You can maybe suggest it's true because the evidence points that way, but then that's an evidential argument, not an argument, as it were, a priori. Therefore, the arguments really turn out to be an argument of evidence. Do we have, or can we ever have, sufficient evidence to prove that miracles exist? And this is certainly the argument that Ehrman put forward in his book, Hume's Abject Failure, where he says there's no way you can construct an argument to say that miracles cannot, as a matter of principle, exist. But you can construct an argument that says that there's not enough evidence for miracles. But as Ehrman says, that is an evidential argument, which it may turn out to be the case is false, that there may in fact be enough evidence to show that miracles do take place. And he quotes Babbage, a 19th century mathematician, who suggested that if you had 6 reliable witnesses saying that a certain thing happened which was miraculous, then that could be proof that the miracle did take place, because it's more improbable for these people to all be lying or deceived than it is for the miracle to take place. And it's this level of evidence that I think modern miracles gives us, because unlike in Hume's day or Babbage's day, we didn't have in those days the level of medical information we now have. And the miracles that I look at, and I identify 125 from 4 books that I've studied, are miracles where you have the medical evidence that the person was genuinely ill prior to the miracle. You have the testimony that the miracle took place within a Christian context. And then you have the medical evidence afterwards that the person was completely healed. That gives you a quality of evidence that should overwhelm Hume's evidential argument against miracles. And we now have, courtesy of the work of Professor Craig Keener, not only evidence of these types of what I call special miracles, because they have all the documentary evidence you could care to want, but we also have the background evidence that there are millions of people who have said they have witnessed or experienced miracles, and that in fact much of the growth of the church in Asia and Africa has been based on miracles. And this has been an incredible engine for the spread of Christianity. It seems almost as if God is doing something very special in these last days. And therefore I think we have in modern miracles clear evidence for the existence of God, and clear evidence that this God is the God of Christianity, because almost all these miracles take place in the context of Christianity. There are miracles that take place in other religions, but they are very much fewer, and they're not necessarily well documented as the ones I have enumerated. So this article really lays out this case, and there are other parts to the argument as well, but I think the argument for modern miracles is overwhelming. Well, thank you for listening.